In this episode, we're joined by Ella, a third-year student in Hobart, and we dig into what she's thinking and feeling as she tries to find a great company to start her career. Ella, how are you exploring opportunities, companies, career paths? How are you approaching that?
It's been a fairly recent start for exploring all of these options. But as I've jumped into it, it's been quite difficult to find information online. There's been some information, certainly, or companies saying that they have grad programs, but without finding information on their websites or finding where you can apply, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Attending careers expos have been brilliant. Having that conversation with the company, having those conversations with individuals who were recently in my position or are currently in my position, either working through the graduate program in said company or have just done an internship or have worked their way up from these programs. Having that conversation and getting a feel for the experience that they are having within that company was very insightful and very helpful when it comes to thinking about where I could go.
That brings me on to the next question of how are you sort of validating who's telling the truth, but who's walking the talk in relation to their brand promises and what they're advocating and saying and offering from a place to start your career?
A lot of it has become word of mouth. A lot of it is conversations. A lot of it is human interaction, rather than being in a virtual space. Testimonies on websites are great. They're very handy when you're coming into looking at certain programs within a company. But then further to that, having conversations with people in person, it's nothing compared to having an email chain with someone. It's a lot easier to grasp what's going on. It's a lot easier to grasp the truth of it, I guess. It's not just a computer automated response that you're getting back.
We do hear that evidence, and we know that graduates like hearing from other graduates, that lived experience that they've been through, and they'll go to different platforms and places to find that out. And of course, you can do that nowadays. Are you influenced by degree subject or sort of target company?
I think because the area I'm in is quite broad, I'd be more so focused on my major in microbiology. Then I would be looking for somewhere specific to work because it's so applicable in so many scenarios. So I'm kind of following my nose at the moment and trying to find where that could take me.
Do you get much help from the university in relation to, thinking about the career paths, the degree, the companies, the opportunities?
It depends very much on the lecturer. There's been a couple of classes that I've had that have been going out to certain companies and going and experiencing what a day-to-day sort of job would be. But a lot of that has been very class-specific rather than individual-specific. I'm sure the information would be there if I were to go and ask, but it comes back to that being online the whole time and not quite knowing my lecturers very well and not being able to feel as though I could go and ask.
What stands out as you're exploring for employers that are doing a good job of their visibility, connecting with you, making it easy to see opportunities, career paths, and what what a career might look like in their organization?
I think clear and concise information is a massive part of it. Being able to identify what the company is looking for and therefore whether or not you'd be, like me, being the applicant would be suitable for something like that, or if that's something that would interest me, rather than someone or a company, I should say, just like blurting out information. And you kind of have to rummage through the information yourself, which just becomes overwhelming. That clear and concise information, whether that be online, whether that be in conversation, it's a lot easier to comprehend and to understand.
As you're looking at companies, what are some of the elements you've touched on there that, the environment in which they operate and work and that they provide that you think are important for you?
I think that quite relational workplace, and actually being able to have interactions and conversations, being able to bounce off one another if you don't quite know something or anything along those lines. In terms of environment, something not super rigid. Something that has a little bit of flexibility. Yeah, flexibility of where you could be working, whether that be at home or in an office or in a lab or wherever it might be.
Are you finding you're able to get clarity on that from companies that you're looking at and exploring with, etc.? Have they got a defined position on that, or is it sort of, hey, we're all flexible working now, and you've got to sort of try and work out what that means?
A lot of places that I've seen have been offering a flexible work experience.
Yeah.
But a lot of them have also been offering, you can just come in to the building, into the office, and you don't have to work from home, which I'm quite liking the concept of.
Yeah.
Of it's there if I need it to be, but I'd much rather go in and have a work life and a home life.
Yeah. And is it clear from companies that you're exploring how their approach to that sort of work environment, flexibility, in office, virtual, can you get a good sense of their sort of philosophy and approach to that?
Yeah, from the companies that I've seen so far, it's been very welcoming. Even talking to the companies that we were at the Careers Expo, it was various managers, graduates, people doing internships, all on the same sort of playing field, I guess. All being able to have a shared conversation, which was really nice to see.
Let me ask another question about as you're looking at opportunities, how your uni experience is influencing that. You've come through the pandemic, that sort of virtual influence. How is that? How are you feeling about that experience, and how's that influencing your approach and what you're thinking you'd like to try and sort of achieve as you transition into the workplace?
So most of my uni experience has been online. It's been just over half, I'd say, that it's been online. Like this semester alone, I'm doing 3 units. My 2 third-year units are completely online. And my first year unit, I have 2 contact hours a week, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people have embraced it, but I've kind of gone the other way of going, yes, I've had all this virtual experience and all of this time online, but I'd much rather have human interaction. I'd much rather be like going somewhere to go and do work, going somewhere to go and do uni.
And extending that on, the experience of that, are there any things as you're sort of working up towards that transition that you are, more anxious about or worried about, or feel that it would be really helpful to have a level of support from the company or an organization you might be joining?
There's certainly a lot of anxiety on my part from not knowing how to act or work in a professional environment. So a supportive environment from the company that I'd be working for would be very, very handy in terms of my experience. I certainly work very hard to try and get into that mindset and get into the professional working capacity. But having assistance in that area would be great, from managers, from leaders within the company, but also just from peers, from friends, from other people in my position that would be entering the company as well.
Let me follow on and ask, because Ella, we've been chatting for 30 minutes. You're coming and someone that I look at who's clearly smart, intelligent, your awareness, your EQ, I see that coming through really strongly. So I'm just interested, what examples of some of those areas that you feel some additional support and development would be helpful?
Yes, acting in a professional manner, in a professional workplace. Coming from environments where we weren't taught skills that some of the maybe older generation would consider basic skills, particularly in a professional environment, such as writing emails, attending meetings, writing agendas for meetings, all the basic sort of adulting skills that everyone tells you about, but no one ever teaches you about. So
Yeah.
those more professional skills, I think, is something that I'd need assistance with.
I would say I'm still learning a lot of those adulting skills. So that's a never-ending learning curve here. And is that felt more broadly? You know, the people that you chat with and spend time with, is that a sentiment that you think is felt more broadly as well?
Definitely. Talking with friends from high school, talking with friends from university, it's people may have areas that they're particularly good at or have had particular amounts of experience with.
Yeah.
But I think fairly unanimously, that's areas that we all need a hand with. That we don't feel quite comfortable enough to be putting ourselves out there
Yeah.
with those skills.
And I'm guessing an organization, back to that point of the validation, a company, an organization that you get a sense is aware of that and supportive of that, rather than seeing it as a sort of detrimental element or area that they need to develop, one that they've got sort of, an approach and to supporting you through that transition with developing some of those skills is going to be attractive and appealing to you.
Definitely, yes. Because coming into the workforce, we may have other skills that might not be considered as what used to be the basic skills, but we may have more social media skills. We may have more of an online sort of skill set without realizing it almost, rather than the in-person, very professional sense.
I love that. I love that we should be thinking basic skills are not basic skills. They're shifting and changing and evolving. And I would agree. I'm sure you've got a bucket load, or do have a bucket load of skills that a lot of others and other generations and other people don't have. So, Ella, it's time for the Desert Island Challenge. So imagine you're stranded on a desert island for 12 months, but you have the opportunity to secure some bonus items. 5 questions, 1 minute. Are you ready?
Good to go. Yeah.
First question. There's an iPad on the island with access to one of the following platforms: TikTok, YouTube, or Instagram. What do you choose?
YouTube, because I could watch things, I can listen to things, I can audiobooks if I really wanted to, I could make a video and explain where I was, and I can still communicate with people in the comment section.
There was only one answer there, wasn't there? That's amazing. Next one, question 2. A music artist, alive or dead, will fly in for one night to sing to you. Who do you choose?
So are we going one person or are we going a band?
You can have a band.
A band. Or individual music artist, Paolo Nutini. Band, The Driver Era.
Oh, that's a great age one, because I've not heard of either of them, but I'm going to go and look them up afterwards. That's brilliant. Question 3. The Uber jet ski service can deliver almost anything. What meal would you have delivered?
My mum's bolognese.
I wondered whether it would be a home one from mum. Question 4. You can have one luxury item. What would it be?
Would toothpaste be considered a luxury item? Could I go toothpaste?
Want to have no, you can have the toothpaste. I think it is. You've got nothing else. So toothpaste it is. And then the final question, bringing you back to Hobart. When you leave the island and arrive back in Hobart, where do you head out to first?
Ooh, depends on the day. If it's a Saturday, I'll head to the rugby field, see if anyone's playing, or play myself. Or maybe just grab some food locally. There's a heap of little cafes about. So.
Ella, you've been a star. Thank you so much for your time. Loved everything that you've shared, and there's some wonderful insights for us to share on too. So thank you.
It's been great. Thank you very much for having me.